gari yako Yesu hapo. Hiyo gari yako Yesu hapo. Unajua ndio alikuwa kanisa. As you move for peace. In the movie ya amani. Yes. Yeah. Awesome.
So thank you very much. We are really happy to be in Nakuru today at the Metro Church to join our fellow Christians to pray for our nation. Many Christians are very concerned about what is happening politically in our country. There were very many of them who supported AZIMIO here in Nakuru, and the majority of the voters actually voted for AZIMIO. So the issue now they are asking is what then happens to AZIMIO after the signing of the UDA-ODM pact. So what I want to tell Christians here and all Kenyans, that let not your hearts be troubled, because coalitions come and go, transitions come and happen, just like we had CORD that the Honorable Raila Odinga led. After CORD, he moved on to NASA. After NASA, he moved on to AZIMIO. And I'm sure after AZIMIO, he's moving on to something new. But the signing of the new accord between him and President William Ruto, between ODM, not AZIMIO, ODM, and UDA, not Kenya Kwanza, to me, is the last nail into the AZIMIO coffin. And I tell Kenyans who supported AZIMIO, let not your hearts be troubled. Sometimes when something dies, when a seed dies, then there's a rebirth. So today what we are seeing is a rebirth of a new coalition. After the death of AZIMIO, we are going to have a new coalition that we're in the process of forming. My late brother Mike used to say, sometimes a good idea gives way to a better idea. AZIMIO was a good idea, but it will now give way to a better idea, a better coalition that will bring Kenyans together to fight for not individuals, not for positions, the way we have seen this pact signed. Because NADCO, as you do recall, when we went for the National Dialogue report, was about positions, creating positions for the political class, the position of Prime Minister, the position of leader of opposition with 2 deputies, and more positions for women to ensure that we have the 2/3 gender. So today we are saying, sometimes, like Saitoti said, there comes a time when the nation is more important than an individual. So if we have individuals, politicians, who are creating positions for themselves, instead of addressing the real issues affecting Kenyans, the cost of living, the issues of corruption, the issues of abductions, where young people still are missing, like Steve Mbisi, then we want to say we must move with speed. And I want to urge my colleagues who have remained in the opposition and those who are joining us, that the time has come for us to okoa Kenya, and those who have gone to okoa Zakayo and to stabilize his government, we leave them to history that is a very harsh judge. So in Nakuru, I'm happy to say we are turning a new chapter in our history politically. And NADCO, as you know, I refused to sign it. It never addressed the real Wanjiku issues. It addressed issues of positions for the political class. We do know that the Justice and Legal Affairs Committee had already rejected some of the proposals in NADCO, creation of certain positions that do not fit in the existing constitutional order. What does this mean? It means even if Ruto and Raila want to embrace NADCO now, they must go all the way and ensure we have a referendum in Kenya. A referendum that will now change the structure of leadership of our country. They cannot do it without a referendum. So we want to ask them, if you wish to have a referendum in this country now, do you have the money to finance this referendum? When you are unable to provide money for capitation for our schools, you are saying you have no money to do that. When counties are saying they do not have money, when our health workers are on strike because there's no money, where are you going to find money for a referendum that you want to prioritize now above all else? We know that this position that is being created for the Prime Minister is meant for our friend and our senior Raila Odinga. That is the whole essence of them now picking up NADCO to create this position for Raila Odinga after he lost at the AU. Before he lost, the Committee of Parliament had discarded NADCO. How is it that now, after losing, they have developed interest in NADCO? It's so that they can create the position of Prime Minister for none other than Raila Odinga. But today we ask Raila Odinga, our elder statesman, right here from Metro Church in Nakuru. The scriptures say, for what would it profit one if you gain the whole world but lost your soul? What would it benefit you? We know you missed the AU office. To gain the office that Ruto is giving you now of Prime Minister and lose your political soul. I think these are some of the questions. Some of us who have believed in Raila Odinga, who have supported him, and who are ready to die in the trenches. When we went to the demonstrations as AZIMIO, Kalonzo Musyoka and I were almost killed. But young people were killed, over 75 in the AZIMIO demonstrations. Over 60 Gen Zs were killed in the Gen Z demonstrations against these harsh taxes. Zakayo has not lowered any tax. So what are you going to do with Zakayo? The Gen Zs came out to stop corruption. Zakayo has now enhanced corruption to the extent that he has been listed as the most corrupt president on the continent of Africa and the second most corrupt in the world after Assad. So what are you going to do with a high priest and champion of corruption? Can you go into bed without compromising your principles? And are you ready to compromise all your principles to gain the prestigious office of Prime Minister? I ask again, what would it profit you if you gained the whole world but lost your soul? That is something we leave to him. But for us, we will proceed to put in place a strong coalition that will continue fighting for the people who have been heavily overtaxed by this regime, to fight the corruption that's now endemic and tribalism that's endemic. And this is the promise and pledge we make to Kenyans. I think when Raila met William Ruto, he met him alone. He did not meet him with his partners. We were his partners in AZIMIO. He never called us to the table. And that is why he has gone as ODM. A lot of people read selfishness in that movie. So he cannot say he's being selfless, doing it for the sake of Kenya. He's not. You cannot say you are signing a pact with William Ruto to go and fight corruption when William Ruto has been branded by the world as the most corrupt president in the world. Hiyo ni kama kuchezea mbuzi guitar, talking about corruption with the high priest of corruption. So we do not think Raila Odinga is doing it for Kenyans. It's for himself and for his political gain. And we are saying there comes a time when we say a nation is more important than an individual.